What's up, Gaming Nation? This is JMO76, and we are playing Madden 24 franchise mode. And this year we are doing a relocation mode. And so we are starting with the Washington Commanders. Commanders are a great choice for a team, especially for a rebuild and a relocation. A lot of controversy around the logo and the branding, although I happen to actually like the Commanders name and the new look. But that said, this is going to be our team. You can see there, in terms of defense superstars, we've got Jonathan Allen and Chase Young. They will be the anchor of the defense for long to come. And we have one of the best receivers in the NFL, scary Terry McLaurin. So with that, let's get this Commanders franchise underway. Definitely be starting in week one. Got to start in week one because this team, as we know, their stadium is horrible. It's dilapidated, and it is not going to give us what we need. So we are definitely looking at relocation. And what happened? We've got a really rich investor who has decided to step up, who wants to bring a team to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. That's right. The NFL is coming to Canada. Vancouver's the biggest city in Western Canada on the west coast in the Pacific Northwest area, just down the I-5 from Seattle. Now, can't keep the name Commanders. It's just it's not our thing. And we need something different. We need something unique. What are we going to go with? And so for our franchise, we are going with the Redwoods. Vancouver is definitely an area surrounded by a lot of rainforest, a lot of gigantic trees. Although the redwoods tend to be a little bit more to the south, it's still a really fitting image for the city of Vancouver. So here we are. Welcome, your Vancouver Redwoods. I think we have to definitely go with the futuristic stadium. We are a smaller city, and so this is going to be a very pricey build, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. And look at that. People are already complaining about the stadium, that there's, the seats are cheap, the parking is too small, the concessions, they look brand new, but they're too small. Okay. Anyways, whatever. Fans will complain. And here we are. There's our stadium. It will be nicknamed the Forest. So in terms of personnel, we are going to be changing our scheme to a vertical zone run. Ultimately, that's where we get the best bang for the buck. We will need to pick up a fullback. We could also look at potentially a tight end in that role, but I am a traditionalist. I do want to try to get a fullback there at some point. We are also going to be running a base 4-3 defense. That's going to mean we're going to need a little bit of work in terms of that right outside linebacker. So you can see in terms of the coaching staff, Rivera, he's got some talents there. Definitely a lot we're going to have to unlock, though, in terms of offensive and defensive development. We're a little bit concerned. Our offensive coordinator has some skill for sure in terms of the running back and the run game and the outside moves, but no talents whatsoever with the vertical threat and almost no talents with the offensive line. That is not good. We're going to definitely need to be putting some points into the offensive line, or it's going to be a long season. In terms of defense, again, defensive coordinator, not too bad in terms of the linebackers and the cornerbacks and having some of those speed boosts. A zone secondary is a bit of a problem for us because I picture us actually running a lot more man than I do zone. And so, you know what, one of the things there, we might actually want to look at changing our coach and finding someone who's got a stronger focus on cornerbacks and man rather than zone. That said, it's the beginning of the season. We don't want to bring too much change right now. So we will run with it. And ultimately, we will see what's going to happen with that. So in terms of this team, we definitely have a real challenge in terms of quarterback. With all due respect to Jacoby Brissett, he is not the guy that I'm wanting who's in there. I don't know how I feel about Sam Howell. I know he's had some moments when he's had an opportunity to be on the field. I'm not necessarily convinced he's our guy. And obviously, Jake Fromm, I like Jake Fromm, but obviously he's not going to be our starter. So we definitely need to look in terms of how we're going to play that. We are stacked at running back. Brian Robinson Jr., absolute beast. We've got Antonio Gibson there in terms of the backfield. And we've got Jared Patterson, who I am a fan of, but I do actually have a little bit of a plan in terms of running back as well. Again, you can see receivers. It's Terry McLaurin all the way. He is an absolute superstar. Curtis Samuel there as number 2, and then we have Dotson. After that, we do definitely have a drop-off. That could be an area where we want to do some work in terms of building for the following seasons. Tight end, Logan Thomas. Big Logan Thomas fan. He's definitely later in his career, year 9. We have seen a bit of a turn down there. He is considered a bridge player, so ultimately we will be looking to an upgrade there at some point. And in terms of offensive line, overall, the left guard, very concerning there. That's an area we're going to need a lot of work. Center, also very concerning there. Right guard, very concerning there. 3 players in their 60s on our offensive line. That's scary. And right tackle, Sam Cosme, who is definitely up and coming, so we have some strength to work with there. In terms of our defense, we will be running a 4-3, so we're going to have Chase Young locking down the left side. On the right side, Montez Sweat, he is going to be an absolute beast. They will be able to really crunch in and cause an absolute ruckus. And in terms of the defense, the tackles, Allen and Payne, they are monsters. So from a defensive line standpoint, I feel really good about this team. In terms of our linebackers, a little bit of concern there. It's a bit of weakness. In terms of Mayo, would like to have a little bit of a stronger presence there. Cody Barton, again, solid player. Hopefully we can improve those stats a little bit. And Don Davis, a big fan of Davis, and I think he's really going to help lock down that right side. When we get to the cornerbacks, I would definitely say this is a position of strength. Kendall Fuller, he is still going. He's a monster out there, lockdown corner. We also have Forbes, lockdown corner, and St. Just is going to be another lockdown player for us. Really excited about that. When you get into the safeties, Derek Forrest, again, really strong player there, and our strong safety, Cameron Curl. So in terms of that piece, the defense are some really nice pieces there, really nice pieces that we can work with. To start training camp off, the Redwoods have made a trade, picking up Blackshear, the running back from Carolina, in exchange for the left end Toohill. Toohill, on the last year of his contract, really wasn't going to see the field too much. A lot of upside in terms of Blackshear and a really strong run game. He's got a lot of speed, so that could be some real potential for the Redwoods. And we also have another trade with an abundance of riches in the backfield. The Redwoods have traded Patterson, running back Patterson, for a 5th rounder from the Baltimore Ravens. So one of the big goals, obviously, to pick up some good draft picks and a number of draft picks for the following year. And it is done. The Vancouver Redwoods have the quarterback of their dreams, Will Levis, coming to Vancouver. And all it took was Antonio Gibson and a 2025 second-round pick. And here we have our man, Will Levis. He is definitely going to be the quarterback of the future for the Vancouver Redwoods. And it was pretty easy to get him overall. Didn't have to give up a lot in that transaction, but we are staking our franchise on this being the guy. You can see overall throw power is amazing. He has definitely got the skill, right? Can he put it together in the NFL? In terms of injury, fairly healthy type of guy. And we do have some challenges there potentially when it comes time to re-sign in a couple of years. Right now, we're not in the Super Bowl chase. He wants a Super Bowl. He wants a warm weather state. Well, it's hard to be a warm weather state when you are a province in Canada. And he wants the money. So ultimately, we will see what he is going to be able to bring to the table. So in terms of the preseason, the Redwoods have 3 tilts this offseason. They are traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns, and then a home game versus the Ravens, and a road game versus the Bengals. In week 1 of the preseason, we have the Redwoods traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. And the biggest thing in this game is ultimately seeing what can Brissett bring to the table, but more importantly, what everyone really wants to know, how will Will Levis perform? And there he is right there, Ron Vera walking by. He's looking at this game as an opportunity really to sell himself. But who really steps up in this game? The new man on the roster, Blackshear, who was picked up from the Carolina Panthers, and he had an excellent preseason game. And here we see the first real pass. Oh, beautiful strike. First real pass thrown by Will Levis in the NFL. Beautiful strike down the field. Had his wide receiver Milno, but actually was a little bit underthrown, but the coverage was pretty weak. That is why the Redwoods ownership has put so much stock into Will Levis. They believe that he can be a franchise quarterback for this team for many, many years to come. And that's a big legacy to live up to. Speaking of legacies, Blackshear continues to make his own legacy. Another beautiful run. He is really great, very elusive in the open field. Nice strike down the field there. You can see Levis really has some nice arm strength behind him. Now here, Levis, nice pass down the middle, unfortunately into double coverage and picked off. You cannot be making those throws at the NFL level. One of the really nice things in terms of Levis and his play calling ability, he can target his receivers, he can move around in the pocket, he is very flexible. And again, there's Blackshear up the middle, grinding away. Levis loves it, Blackshear loves it. Speaking of being mobile, you can see there Levis, play breaks down, he has no receiver, and just like that, turns on the jets and he moves. He's not a super fast guy, but he is very mobile in the pocket when he needs to. And Blackshear, this is definitely his best run of the game, just hacking and slashing through the backfield, going over Browns left, right, and center. He was outstanding today, really cementing a spot on this team. Here was his run for the touchdown. Again, you can see he beats 4 different players there into the end zone. Blackshear, what a nice move. What a great game. And I don't know what that dance is, but it's something. So you can see Levis definitely a work in progress for his first game. Got quite a few snaps in there, had a few nice moments, but did not have a great game overall. Beautiful surprise, though, Raheem Blackshear with a monstrous game. In about 2 quarters of work, 14 carries, 119 yards, he looked good out there. He definitely looked good, and he is right in the thick of it in terms of running back number 2. At this point, I would say, based on that effort, he is probably in the lead for running back number 2. And Camp had a nice performance out there today as well. He'll be hard-pressed to make the lineup, but again, he did look pretty good out there, especially in cleanup duty. Preseason went pretty well. 2-1 for the Redwoods, victory over the Browns and the Ravens, and a tough loss to the Bengals. In terms of players and player personnel, you can see Will Levis went 9 for 13 in the game versus the Ravens, and ultimately went 9 for 12 against the Bengals. Not too bad in terms of overall performance. The biggest thing in terms of this preseason was just to get a sense, is Will Levis ready for the starting role? And at this point, the answer is no. So Jacoby Brissett will be the starter for the season, but realistically, that's just to give Revis some more time to get ready. Will Levis Sorry, that's just an opportunity to give Levis a bit more time to get ready. We are going to give the starting position to Brissett at quarterback to start the year, and we'll give Levis some time to learn and understand the offense before looking at the possibility of moving up. A lot of concerns in terms of this team with the offensive line. That's really going to be the big thing for us. Will the offensive line be able to give the quarterbacks time? The whole season really on offense is really dependent on that. Well, I think that is a great place to cut it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I hope you're looking forward to this whole season in terms of the Vancouver Redwoods and the Relocation Madden 24 franchise. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.